Welcome, amazing agents and investors from across the country. Today is Thursday, August 22nd, 2019, and this is Mastermind Call number 241. If you were on the call a little bit early, I'm sure you noticed some extra voices today. We're going to try something a little bit different today. Next week, all four of the ATL partners are going to be on a cruise. Not really a business cruise. We're all just going to get together and have some fun. We'll be at sea. We will not be here for this call. I think in 6 years we've never missed having one. So we're going to turn the reins over to four amazing people, and we just kind of want to introduce them this week, and they'll be doing the call next week. We have our social media and affiliate manager, Kat Wagner. Say hi, Kat.
Hi, guys. And I was going to say next week, especially if you have any questions about social media, branding yourself, your channels like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, bring those questions with you next week so I can take all those questions for you.
Yeah, and we also have our sales team, and they will be able to answer a lot of sales-related questions. But yeah, that's a good point, Kat. Kat is absolutely brilliant at social media. So if you do need specific help with any of your social media marketing, that'd be a great time next week to bring those questions. And then we have our amazing sales team. We have Natalie. Say hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Jordan, are you here?
I am. Hi, everyone.
And Darcy, are you here?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. All right. So they'll be hosting the call next week. And so I want you to think of your most difficult sales-related questions and call in with them next week. I'm just kidding. If there is something they cannot answer, they will just defer, and we'll get you a good answer and get back to you. But I'm sure they'll do just fine on the call. So, Kat, I'll turn the board over to you. You get some practice this week. Chad, anything you want to say before we get started with the callers?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, Kat, the floor is yours, and I'll try to actually be quiet.
All right, awesome. First up, we have caller ending in 2331. Are you there, 2331? Awesome.
Yes, we can hear you well.
This is Branden. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I see when you provide the list to us that you provide a lot of other names in secondary or third phone numbers. So they're probably relatives of the representative. I'm assuming you call them. If you do call them, what are you saying?
Yeah, so our numbers are in from top to bottom in a ranked order. So the top number is most likely to be the personal representative and their cell phone. But if we can't come up with that, or even if we can come up with other numbers that are closely related that we can kind of triangulate to them, we'll add those in. So if it's, John Doe, you could simply call Mary Smith and say, hi, I'm trying to reach John Doe. Have I got the right number? And let Mary say, well, John's my brother. What's this about? And then you jump into the conversation. So rather than trying to say, hi, John, is this John Doe's phone number? Just say, hey, I'm trying to reach John Doe. Have I got the right number? And typically you'll find yourself in a conversation where they will tell you who they are and what the relationship is and how you can get a hold of John.
Okay, thank you.
And the other thing, if you weren't on the call last week, we did announce you now have an email address. And right now we're just giving you the email address for the personal representative. I think where we're headed is we'll actually give you an email address, if it's available, for each of those 4 phone number slots. So if, for example, you could leave a message for John Doe, send him a voicemail, talk to Mary Smith, and then you could email her your information. So just gives you more surface area. So that's something we'll be opening up kind of in the next round of development revisions. We'll probably push all the email addresses through for all the phone numbers.
Okay, awesome.
All right, awesome. Next up, we have phone number ending in 5092.
You scared them away.
See
that, Kat? It happens to you too.
All right, so
I think you heard
not
a
as
female
easy
voice.
as it looks, huh, Jim?
That's right. Go ahead.
It looks like it's skipping whoever I press next question to, so maybe I'm not doing it right.
You're doing it correctly. 9679 is up next.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for doing this. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yes, awesome. So I'm gonna try to keep this as precise as possible, but I am a little overwhelmed to be honest. So I got my leads like a couple weeks ago, I think. So right now I'm working with an investor as an investor, but like about 3 weeks from now I'll be getting my real estate license. So I am like kind of debating what will be I need some guidance, how should I go about, as in should I build my, before sending the direct mail, should I build my website, with the website sample you guys provided. I really like that, but I'm confused because I'm going to be an agent in a few weeks, but if I do as an investor, or before building the website, should I wait to get my license so that I can do it as realtor and probate expert, and I can represent myself that way? Or should I go ahead and start doing it as an investor, like building website and then sending out letters before I get my license? So, yeah.
What's your name?
Renee.
So, Renee, I would say just do it as Renee. Don't worry about being an investor. Just get rid of that title for now.
Okay.
And when you get your real estate license in a few weeks, don't pick up that title either. In this niche, just be Renee. And it's okay if you start marketing now. I mean, it's easier to steer a moving truck. So where most people get overwhelmed is they look at everything we provide and all the stuff we teach and try to put that all into play in the first week. And then they end up just saying, this is impossible, and they quit. And you want to avoid that. So you can eat a whale one bite at a time. And just you need to get clear on what it is you're trying to accomplish. And we spend an entire 3 hours doing this in Probate Mastery, just getting clear on what can be done and what specifically you intend to do. Because of this reason, like people just they come in for the right reasons. They're leading with their heart, and they're like, I want to help people and I want to provide this high level of service, and then they look at it and they're like, oh my God. But if you can just get clear on how to, doing the right things in the right order. So get some letters set up that you're comfortable with. Get some of those letters in the mail. Once that's happened, go through the role play calls and get yourself comfortable on the phones. Once you're good with that, layer in a website. But don't feel like you have to do it all before you start. Just, I would say, if anything, jump in and get the first letter, just one. Just pick one and send the same one 3 times. And get it out there. Like get some action and motion, and then just follow that momentum.
All right, got it. Totally.
But everything, like all the letters and everything we teach, it's absent of the investor or realtor title. You can be a probate specialist. You can be, I'm a professional here that has a team of professionals that locally help folks locally. Whatever it is, whatever that title is, but try to stay away from the investor or realtor title, because if you do have competition, you're just going to have their reputation instead of your own.
Okay. And eventually, once I get comfortable, I can, get in the building website and represent as a realtor eventually.
You can get your probate website up in 3 business days. If you get us what we need, we can have a site up for you very quickly. And the sites are really helpful. Like the PS line of every letter should say, PS, if you're not ready to talk to anyone just yet, go to probate.com. And that it's basically just a really, really good business card. It's a credibility builder. So they go there, they see that you've aggregated all this information, you have a professional, facade for the service you're offering. But you can certainly, you hear people on this call every week that don't even have websites that are doing multiple deals. So it's something, get your mail out there first, get on the phones, and then we'll work. Then do the website whenever you've got some time. But just relax a little bit. It's not rocket science. This is really simple. You send a letter, follow it with a phone call, and put checks in the bank.
Yes, So I'm comfortable doing calls. We are actually working with some attorneys already. We have like 3 attorneys, local attorneys we're working with. So that I randomly just call, and then when I meet them in office, I was able to build a relationship, and they have like couple like prospective clients for us right now. So we
That's
were
awesome.
working on that. Yes, we're already working on that. It's pretty amazing. Followed exactly what you said, like building relationship, and yeah, they've been referring us clients, but it takes longer. So yeah, it's like they haven't decided yet if they want to sell their home or not. But it's yes. So I mean,
So
attorney is
let's
such a
work on
person.
your internal dialogue. Instead of I'm overwhelmed, let's try it
Yes,
again. You are what?
I am ready, confident, and I can help people. Or
You're excited about your momentum. Like you already got attorneys bringing you referrals.
yes, and
That's
also
like
they're like
step 10. That's getting into the hard part. So the stuff you're stressing over is a lot easier than what you've already done. My point is just relax. You're doing just fine.
hmm Yeah, I mean, the thing I'm thinking a little bit is I'm comfortable with the attorneys, but I've never talked to representatives. So it's like, I don't want to come across like, I mean, I don't want to come across like I'm trying to, so it's just representative. I've never talked to them. So it's, yeah, a little bit, I don't know, how do you?
So it sounds to me like you feel guilty about your offer. So you're nervous about talking to the personal reps because you don't believe in what you're trying to sell, right?
Not really, but I mean, I feel like, see, that could be true because I feel I'm not so knowledgeable. So, I'm like, I can be confident with attorneys. I can talk to them, like I'm comfortable with them. But with the
Mm-hmm.
personal representative, can I, yeah.
And they're just people in a really stressed out period. So what's so
hmm
intimidating about them?
That's true. Yeah, I think I just need to call them. And I do have a business partner who is experienced, who knows stuff. I mean, I'm new in real estate, just in 6 months, but he's been doing it for 20 years, and he's so happy because I've been getting all these attorneys. Like I was able to get
Mm-hmm.
him like in the attorney's office for appointments. So he was like, we were really happy about that. And yes, I
So
just wanted to clarify if I need to build a website and everything. And just because I'm going to be a real estate agent, he's an investor, so how are we going to do this together and like everything. Like I think I'm just a little bit thinking too much.
we'll kind of, we blend everything. So you don't have to have a real estate website and an investor website. We're teaching you to cast have a very broad scope to your offer. So that way, they have 25 different reasons to respond to you rather than one. The one thing I want to leave you with is, one of the first things I try to cover and with folks in Mastery is let's get clear on why you're doing this. There are literally 7 million ways to make money in real estate and to help people.
Yes.
But you chose this one for a reason. Like this one resonated with you. It's something.
Yes.
And empathy is the key here. If you just take a deep breath and think about what state of mind they're in. So they're just a human, just like us. They have all the same doubts and fears and concerns and stress that we have. And now they have more than ever. Their everyday life is coming at them. They have soccer practice and potlucks and summer vacation and Labor Day's coming up and that weekend at the lake with the in-laws. And then one of the most important people in their life passed away. And now they have to find a way to ethically and efficiently unravel that while being held accountable by attorneys, probate clerks, court, the family. So what's intimidating you is keeping you from actually being a leader for these people. So you need to realize they are in a much more insecure and intimidated place than you are. And if you're strong as a leader, you'll kind of empower them to move forward and to get out of the pain that they're in. And once you do 2 or 3 deals, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But you need to be strong. You need to be clear on why you're there. You need to be clear on what you can offer, what solutions you can bring to the table to help turn their mountains into a molehill. And with that comes confidence. Like when you understand the probate process in your area, when you understand the situation they're in, the problems they might have, then it just becomes fun, right? You become the transaction engineer. You're like, okay, show me the puzzle pieces. All right. And you put the solution together. But I think you need to spend a little bit of time thinking about who these people are and why you stepped up to help them in the first place. And it'll probably dissolve the apprehension you have right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, we got a full queue. Who's up next, Kat? Chad, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Kat, are you there?
You there,
Yeah,
Kat?
can you hear me? Yep.
Okay.
Next
Yeah,
we have
now we can.
7976. You're up next.
Are you there? 7976. Renee, are you there? I kind of hear some background noise, but Renee, last call. All right, let's move to the next one, Kat. Well, Renee, if you're there, hit star 6 and hit 1 again.
Yes, so we have 7 more in the queue. So like Jim said, we tend to have people jump in. So if you want to get in before we close the queue, press star 6 and 1 and we'll get you in. But next up we have 5632. There he is.
Hi, this is Venessa. Can you hear me?
We can hear you well.
Okay. Hey, my question is, I'm just starting this, and I want to kind of build a team. What kind of scripts or questions can I use to call like attorneys and estate sale people and all the different people that I want on my team to kind of build that?
Sure. So for the attorneys specifically, there's a whole lot of resources for you on alltheleads.com. So if you go to the top right in the search bar and put in the word attorney or attorneys, do it, it's kind of like a Google search, as Jim says. Just try different keyword combos, but just start with attorney, attorneys, probate attorney, and you'll see role play calls where we talk about specifically what you say. You'll see mastermind calls where we kind of discuss the concept of how you set up your referral system. There's blog posts where you can actually hear it directly from a probate attorney, what's valuable to them. So that one's kind of easy because you've got literally hours of conversation about that. But as far as all the other vendors, it's kind of the same approach. You need to show them that your business is complementary to theirs, and you're looking for a referral relationship with reciprocity. So I'm not looking to take a commission or do anything. Like, I don't want any money from you. I just want to know that I can trust that you will do what you say you do when I need you to do it. So when I send you a family that needs a house cleaned out within 14 days, I just need to know that you're the right person for that. And when you have a family that just cleaned out a house and they need to liquidate that to settle an estate, I want you to know that I'm the right person for that. And that's the estate sale company example. But as you approach each of these vendors, show them how it can be a symbiotic relationship. So here's what my business can do for your business, and I consider you part of my team. And you want to build the relationship in such a way that they feel the same way. You're the real estate spoke in their wheel. They're the estate sale company in your wheel. And you guys are really just on each other's teams, even though you're not, charging affiliate commissions or anything like that. If you send a referral, you're going to get one in return at some point. So that's really, and in Mastery, we go through and I show you, kind of who the basic team members or spokes in the wheel should be. And I give you at least 2 ways to find each one of them. That's kind of outside of the scope of this call. But if you want to do a deep dive on it, Probate Mastery is kind of the long form of that, how you find each one and how you approach them.
Okay. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
All right, next I see that we actually had phone number ending in 7976 jump back in. Can you hear us now, 7976?
It looks like you lost him again. It looks like, I don't know what's going on with that person. Maybe they're in a bad cell range. Actually, no, I see it's back in now. Renee, can you hear us? She's unmuted again. 7976. Huh.
All
Let
right,
me
so we'll go
try.
on to the next question.
Okay.
All right, so next we have phone number ending in 2228.
Hi, my name's Lisa, and I've been talking to Jim a couple times. I'm very, very new to ATL, so hopefully the rest of the callers will get some benefit out of this. I haven't actually joined ATL. I wanted to listen to the call today. If you're brand new and you wanted to jump in, Chad, what I wanted to hear from you is what you would do. How would you go about it? I looked at all the video. I looked at the videos that Jim sent me, the 2-minute, the 3-minute. I've actually followed up on most of the recommended agents that are using your system at the bottom of the email. So now the question is, I'm ready to jump in. What's the best way to do that? Should I do the mastery class? Should I just get the leads? What do you recommend?
Sure. So we tried to lay this out so you can get started as quickly as possible. So whenever you sign up for your subscription, you'll get a login and password for the subscriber portal. The first thing you'll see there is the Probate Fast Track, and it's a series of 3 videos that'll take you 45 minutes. And that's kind of the foundational knowledge you need to get started. So here's what the system offers. Here's some of the first steps you should take. Some people can get by with just that. If you're a strong self-starter, you can put the pieces together. You know, you go through the fast track, jump to mailbox motivator, set up your first letter, set up your first order with that letter, click autopilot, and then when you get a copy of your letter in the mail, start making phone calls. If you need more support, like if you need more help than that, I would recommend you go to the search bar in the top right of alltheleads.com. After doing fast track, type in tips from the trainer, and that's going to bring up a series of video blog posts from over the last 3 years where we talk about how to approach attorneys, how to handle direct mail, how to leave the one we posted this week was should you leave voicemail or not. But the tips from the trainer blog series is it's the commonly asked questions, the things that we hear over and over. That's why we make those. So to shorten your learning curve as quickly as possible, go through fast track training and then jump to the tips from the trainer series on the blog, watch a few of those. If you don't feel comfortable on the phones, jump to our role play calls. You can type in role play in that search bar and it'll bring up hundreds of different, well, not hundreds on the role play. I think we have 46 role play calls. But you have almost 50 hours of role-playing that you can review, so you can get yourself comfortable on the phones. So as far as mastery, like if you go through Probate Fast Track and if you're not clear on your offer or what exactly you're going to do in this space, mastery is for that. Mastery is to bring you clarity and confidence. So this is what my offer is, this is how I approach it, and this is how I deal with people on the phones. And we want you to come out of that with confidence. So you're excited to have this conversation. You know that they're better off hearing from you than not. And so if you don't feel like you're there with the basic stuff with the basic training we provide, mastery is there to kind of take it to the next level. So if you want to do that, the next class isn't until late September, but we just finished the August class. So what I'll do is if you want to sign up for mastery, I'll send you the recordings from last week. And then if there's any questions that you didn't get answered in the recordings, then you can jump on my calendar and we'll make sure your questions are answered one-on-one. So you don't have to do mastery to get started. You should, jump in, do the fast track, get your letters out. And then if you feel like you need some more confidence or you need more clarity on what it is what the full potential of this is, then mastery is a good next step.
Okay, I appreciate all that information, Chad. And it's Chad, right? Is that
Yes.
who I'm talking to? Okay, and so regarding the mastery, so what I thought I heard you say was you would send me the recording for last month's class. Is that the full class, or is it just an
Yes.
overview?
No, we just finished the August class on Friday evening, and
Okay.
that class was about 9 hours in 3 different video recordings. So it's a lot of content. That's why we record everything, because it's kind of drinking from a fire hose. So
Sure.
you can go through those as many times as you need. If you haven't gotten what if you still have blind spots, you can jump on my calendar and we'll work on those one-on-one until you feel comfortable.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Well, I don't know if that's necessary. Okay. So 9 hours. Is there an additional charge for that mastery class?
It's only $250, and it comes with a national certification. So you'll have both the digital badges and a hard copy certificate that most people frame. It's a nice, like a diploma almost.
Okay. So you have to attend the class, not just listen to the 9 hours of recording, but
You
actually
can do the recording, and then I'll register you. If you sign up now, I'll send you the recordings, and then you'll be in the live class in September. But
Gotcha.
rather than waiting, you can go ahead and get started with the recordings and then join us live for the next class.
Got it. And it's basically the same class.
Yes.
Each
Same
month.
class.
Okay.
We have it's a little bit different each month because it's interactive. So this month we had I think 29 new folks and about 15 alumni. Last month we had like 31 alumni and 30 some new folks. So it just, the crowd, the conversation changes with the crowd. Sometimes we like at the Q&A at the end. Sometimes it will go for 2 hours, and sometimes it's 40 minutes. So it's slightly different each month, but it's the same content.
Okay, and just last, because I won't let other people speak, but what's the percentage of your the clients with ATL that start the probate fast track, get started, do everything, and then actually do the mastery class? What's the percentage of people that do the mastery if they find that there's not enough information or enough content, or maybe they're not getting enough from the free videos to do this on their own?
I think probably a quarter of people do mastery. And what I find is a lot of times folks will be with us for 2 or 3 months. They'll go through it on their own, then they'll do mastery, and then all of a sudden, like, momentum breaks loose. And the thing that I hear a lot of times is, I wish I would have done this before. We have folks that actually some folks have been with us for as long as a year and then taken mastery, and then this thing took off for them. And I think it's just because of that clarity and confidence. So, you can, at least a quarter of our subscribers have taken mastery. And just to give you a testament, I don't know if Joyce is on this call, but we have one subscriber who has been with us for 14 months, and she's taken mastery 14 times because she keeps learning stuff. Every day.
Oh my goodness.
She comes back every month and sits with us, and she picks up something new every time. And we have people sitting in mastery for the second and third time that are already making over $1 million in revenue just in this space because they're picking up new things each time. So it's different for everybody. I'm kind of biased because I created the course, but I would say, information is power and confidence, and the sooner you can take it, then the sooner you'll get to that point.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for all that information.
Sure.
All right. Caller ending in 5418, you're up next. Can you hear us? Number ending in 5418.
I hear him breathing. I thought I did. All right. I guess move on.
Kat, it's not you, Kat.
I'm scaring everybody.
This is what I say when I lose. This happens. Yep, next.
Number ending in 0440.
Hi, gang. Can you hear me? Hello?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
Loud
great.
and clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, listen, I'm just getting started. I've been following you guys for a while. I purchased a website. I have my brochures, and I'm getting ready to send out my first mailing. Now, I've gathered this information by myself from the courthouse, and it's a major pain in the ass, and I'm hoping that you guys will be able to do this for me in the future. But for right now, I'm going to try to get my feet wet on my own. Now, my question is about the letters. When you guys send out the letters, do you do some kind of mail merge? Do you put their names in the heading, or is it just like Dear Personal Representative?
Depends on the letter. So are you on a wait list in your county?
No, I've gone to the courthouse myself and gathered this information from from their
Right,
computers.
but and you feel that pain. I made it twice.
It's really a pain. Yeah, I mean, I heard you talking about it, but I really need to get my feet wet before I start putting out some serious dough.
Gotcha. So the reason I ask, like, part of being a subscriber is we not only pull the data for you, we do all the mail merge and everything. Like, it's all built into our system, so we can
Right.
automate all the pain you're feeling. We've automated out because we understand those choke points. But yes, most of the letters that we have do have custom merge fields. So it'll say, you know, hi, John Smith. My name's Chad Corbett. I'm contacting, you know, I'm reaching out because we have a team of people locally that help families going through probate, and we understand that you're representing the estate of merge field, you know, deceased, first name, last name. So they are personalized. And then obviously, if you have a printer that will process envelopes, then we're mail merging the envelopes too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, it'll help me get started. That's all I really wanted to know at this point.
Sure. And if you struggle with the mail merge, there's 17 or 2,800 great YouTube videos on just through Microsoft Excel to Microsoft Word mail merge, and there's some great tutorials there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Oh no,
Whoop.
I'm messing this up, guys. I'm sorry.
Awkward.
Well,
Please press *6 and hit 1.
It's okay, Kat. That's why we had you try it this week. Everybody who Kat just blew away, they're all coming back. Hit *6 and hit 1 again. That's all right. We're here to. Otherwise, we're going to make Kat talk for the next 30 minutes. So we are. It looks like they're all. We don't want that. They're all back in. Go ahead, Kat. And it looks like you won.
Next up, we have 0947.
You got it.
Hello, how's it going?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing? This is Maurice. So I'm giving you a call because I had a quick question about one of my deals coming up. So I got this one on owner or seller financing, and most of the deals in the past I've used a purchase agreement, like the regular assignable purchase agreement. I wanted to know, is there a specific contract I should be looking to use for the terms of the owner financing, or am I able to just write those terms directly on the purchase agreement, or should I try to find like an assignable contract for deed?
So are you actually going to hold this property?
No, I'm looking to push it out.
Okay.
To assign it.
Typically, I mean, when I would do a deal like this, I would use a standard, like a state contract, and then in the additional terms, I just put, under the financing clause, I'll check other seller financing, see additional terms. And then in additional terms, I'll lay out the bullet points that we agreed to. So, 30-year amortization fixed at 5%, 5-year balloon, and monthly payments on annualized interest, whatever that is. Lay the bullet points out, and then after that, a note and deed of trust to be prepared by purchaser's attorney, and then that way my attorney can take the purchase agreement and he writes them. In my state, it's a note and deed of trust, and then that's recorded against the title. So I have so the seller has a first against the title when it transfers to me. So you've got an owner financing deal in probate that you intend to wholesale, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this creative financing is an awesome tool, but there's some things you need to be aware of. Like, is the property still inside of probate?
No.
Okay, so you've already gotten it outside of probate.
Yes.
Okay, and is it free and clear?
Sure is.
Okay, has title been done?
No, I haven't done title yet.
Okay, so, but you've agreed to all the points, like the interest rate, the term, the length, the time period. Like, have you guys agreed to all that, or is that still
yes?
to be done?
Yep, everything's been agreed upon. And he actually, so what happened is the seller actually wanted a cash offer, but there's a detached garage. It's a duplex that he owned that's been vacant for probably 3 years in Howard County, Maryland. So he had a detached garage where he's keeping things inside of it, and from there he's looking to. We wanted to rent back the garage until next November when the contract is up. So,
Okay.
but the property itself, what I got it under contract for, and what the comps are, what they're going for, it's a pretty large spread. So I'm thinking anybody would take this, and I'll use the down payment arbitrage thing to bring in my fee.
Sure. So you did include a down payment, and that's where you'll take the assignment fee from.
Yes.
Smart, man. You're thinking outside of the box. That's great. So then what I would recommend is what I said. Lay out the bullet points in the contract and say note and deed of trust, or whatever that might be called in Maryland. I'm not sure. In Virginia, we have two documents. We have a note and a deed of trust that's recorded against the deed. The note is not recorded. That's for private. But I would put in there, the terms that you guys agreed to, and then another additional term or a period, and then continue that one. Note and deed of trust to be full note and deed of trust to be prepared by purchaser's attorney. The reason for that is if a guy is buying that from you, like as a wholesaler, you're the real value. Your deals are only as valuable as your paperwork, right? If you get it right. If you came to me with a deal like that, a duplex with seller financing that was assignable, I mean that's a home run. You'll have buyers running over top of you to get that deal. And what that clause that I just recommended, that leaves them the flexibility to have the attorney they know and trust write their note and deed of trust for them. So that's why I recommend it that way. It's going to be more attractive to the buyer, because for me, if someone else prepared a note and deed of trust against something that I was buying, I would be very, very cautious there. And I would probably insist that that goes away and my attorney writes the note and deed of trust, because I want to know that, it fits. I want to know what I'm buying from you. So far you've done everything perfectly. Just leave it open. So you bullet point the terms. You want to get the terms in there that they can't change. They can't back out on the terms they agreed to. But as far as the fine language and the note and the deed of trust, leave that to the purchaser to make sure he has somebody he's comfortable with writing those documents.
Okay, that sounds good. So to walk back through it, I'm pretty much taking the contract in, writing out the bullet points, having that signed, and allowing.
So in your grab a Maryland state contract, and in there, like in Virginia, it's like paragraph 5. You check it's financing, and you check cash, financing, and then under financing there's type, and you have VA, FHA, conventional, or other. And in my contract, I would check other. I would check financing, other, and then in the other box, I would just put an asterisk, see additional terms. And then I would go to additional terms, and I've done these before. I can go to additional terms and say, seller and purchaser agree on owner financing terms as follows, : X number of dollars down, X% interest rate, X number of year amortization, and X number of year balloon payment. And then either another additional term or a period, and continue this. Seller and purchaser agree. That purchaser's attorney will prepare final note and deed of trust for closing. And that way you give them all the flexibility in the world to work with their attorney to get a note and deed of trust they're comfortable with, but also the seller can live with.
Okay, that sounds good. I appreciate that.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Next up, we have phone number ending in 2729.
Hi, this is Bill Janiga. I'm calling from Northville, Michigan, and I've got a couple comments. If it's too long, just cut me off. Number one, involved in a transaction in which there was an estate company, and the party that I was trying to help called me and pretty upset over a Saturday night. What happened was it was supposed to be a 3-day estate sale, and it was not a company I'd recommended, someone they found on their own. Friday went fine, and then Saturday they walked in, they wanted to see how things are going, and the two ladies running the estate sale kicked the heirs out, said you're not allowed in the property while we're doing the estate sale. So they were a little miffed by it, but they said okay. So the one sister decided to watch the property when they were leaving. Saturday evening, they took out like 3 bags of things out of the house, put them in their car. And she approached them and said, what are you doing? She said, well, these are things that aren't going to sell anyway, so we're just going to get rid of them today. And they said, well, what about tomorrow? She said, well, they won't sell tomorrow either, so we were just going to go take them to the dumpster. And she said, well, we'll take them to the dumpster. So they opened the bags, and there was a lot of good things in them, and they were really upset over it. So she called me and said, what do? I said, fire them. And I said, they can rant and rave all they want, and which she did. And she said, well, we're getting an attorney. I said, have the attorney call your attorney, and that's the last she heard of it. So that's sad, and I've not run into that before, so still trying to find a good estate sale company.
So
number 2 is,
you should make an example out of them. Like attorneys cost money. Sheriff's deputies are free. And if you can take a list of inventory and add up what was in the bags and get it over $1,000, charge them with grand larceny. Like nail their ass to the wall.
We didn't discuss that. They were just happy to switch companies, and I recommended a mother and a daughter team for that. But I still have certain hesitancy on some of the estate companies going in and out.
Well, it's a shady business for a lot of companies. And I point people to, there's 2 directories. There's estatesales.org and estatesales.com. And those are a pretty good top-level filter because those are national directories. One has about 20,000 companies, and the other has around 22,000. There's obviously a lot of overlap. But in order to get in the directory, you have to at least be running your business to the point where you treat it like a business, and you go to this directory, and some of them will just have a person's name and not even a profile picture or anything. But a good estate sale company will have their name, their website, their recent sales, a blurb about what they do. They even pay to be ranked from like platinum to bronze, kind of like a Zillow Premier Agent. It doesn't mean they're the best, but it does mean that they paid this directory some money to be ranked higher. And that's a pretty good sign that they're trying to grow their business. They're acting like a business person. So if you're struggling to find one, check out those directories, estatesales.org or estatesales.com. But honestly, like if you're going to be doing this in your market, like if they have done that to this family, they've gotten away with it before. And to me, I mean, if the family has to be on board, but I would think they need a visit from the sheriff, whether they get prosecuted or not. They need to meet with a law enforcement official, and they need to have a list of inventory of what was in the bags, hand it to the police, and let them go have a talk, so they're not doing this to other families. But I mean, there are great estate sale companies out there, but it's an unregulated business. It doesn't require a license. You can just throw that title out there and say, I have an estate sale company, and there's no industry standard. There are industry groups, but those people have to be professional enough to go seek out those groups and adopt their code of ethics. So I get it's a lot easier to just move on and not worry about it, but they're going to do it to somebody else. I guarantee you it's not the first time they've done it if they had answers prepared.
No, I agree. I did bring it up Tuesday night at the RIA meeting because we have an exchange, and we also have an unofficial blacklist of contractors and other folks not to deal with. So the word gets out relatively.
That's good. And you might, also have the family just say, listen, I know there's a lot on your plate, but you should really take 5 minutes and go to the Better Business Bureau website and at least warn other families about this.
Now, Better Business Bureau, I didn't think of recommending them to them, but I'll be seeing them this week. Number two, if you have time, is coming out of one of your mastery classes, and I don't remember which one, but was the idea of the hub and representing a team. And it was a lead that I got not through ATL, but through one of my other sources. Probably 50% or better of my business is by referral. So I cherish that greatly. And when the folks came to me, she said, so-and-so referred me, and, my dad passed away, and this and that. And I said, okay, I understand. And I said, so what is the one thing that's troubling you the most about going through all this? And she said, well, it's all the stuff in the house. And she said, I got all these damn bonds I don't know what to do with in a box. I said, well, actually, both of those are easy. I said, there's different ways to get rid of the items that are in the house. And I said, the bonds are just as easy. And I said, what we can do, there's a form to fill out. And bear in mind that some of your bonds may no longer be earning interest. So it's going to behoove you to redeem them and get them transferred right away. So what we did, I took her to my office. We copied all the bonds so that she would have a copy. Knowing what they were, we filled out the forms, and we overnighted them to Minneapolis. And if you provide your APA number and your account number, if they don't find any issues with the bonds, the money within 6 weeks is supposed to be put in your account, the ETF, and she'll be good to go. So that comment really has paid for me, and I've adopted that. And I do like that idea of representing a team as opposed to just myself.
That's really awesome. It could have taken her weeks to figure that out, and you just stepped up and said, nope, your mountain's my molehill. That's simple, right?
Well, the second part of that is, and they appreciated it, so when we finally met, she had a quad level. Well, in Michigan, quad levels do not do that well to the buyers. The buy levels, tri levels, and quad levels, we lose an awful lot of buyers on our listings. So I lived with it. She said, I understand you'll buy homes. I said, I would do, but they have to meet certain criteria. And she said, well, does this meet your criteria? I said, it does for everything except the fact that it's a quad level. And I said, if I wrote you an offer with it being a quad level, I said, you probably wouldn't like the number. I said, why don't we do this? I gave her the list of comps with photographs. I said, there's 2 homes in the neighborhood that are quad levels. I said, let's go look at them. And she had her brother with her. He has no signature authority, but he has verbal input. So I took them to show him both of them. And I said, now, you see what these homes look like? You see what they're asking on the asking price? I said, where does your home fit in that? Your dad's home. And they both agreed it was not anywhere near the number that they thought. So that went over very well. What we're going to do now is figure out how she wants to handle the estate sale, and then we're going to go ahead and list it. So just, thinking out of the box a little bit and being honest with them, I think that goes a long ways.
Yeah,
And
I was going to say, Dan,
no surprise why you have 50% referral business. You're doing it right. The fact that you took them out there to actually show them that and say, how does your dad's house fit here? That is awesome. So few people would ever go to that level of service. So good
yeah,
for you.
and I was going to say, thanks for sharing it, because we always ask people to, put into practice what they learned from these calls and the other content and come back and share it. And not too many people actually do that, so thank you.
Well, that's something, obviously that I can do as being a realtor and an investor. And that's something that just a straight investor is not going to be able to do. So if you don't want to become a realtor, and I understand some people don't for various reasons, at least hook up with one that you know and trust and form a partnership. And that will open a lot of doors for you.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Now we have a couple more in the queue. Next up, we have phone number ending in 5810. You're up next. Can you hear us? Phone number ending in 5810. Did we lose another one?
I guess. It must be muted out.
So
Go on to the next.
we'll move on. We're going to go to phone number ending in 5309.
4309, yeah, close.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. 4309, you're up. I don't know why it's doing that, Kat. You know what? Let me, want me to sign out of the queue? You think it's because we're both in there? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I
But I
don't
know
think so.
these were callers that were signed in before that were muted too.
There we go. I heard a voice. Are you there, 4309? I thought I heard a voice.
Hello?
All right. There we go.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm a realtor in Pennsylvania, and your first caller, I believe you had said to her, even after she gets her real estate license, she should still, send her letters as just her. Is that right? Just in her name? So my question is, am I not required to, because I'm licensed, am I not required to identify that I'm a licensed realtor in my letter?
Kat, are you there? I mean, Chad, are you there?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was just talking away. Sorry about that. In Virginia, what's required for state compliance is the brokerage name, address, and phone number. And
Right.
what I do, in the footer of my letter, I have asterisk, ethics are of utmost importance to us. If your home is already listed, please disregard this letter. And below that, on one line, is the compliance information. And that's in light gray in the footer, so it's not very prominent, but it is legible, and it does meet the requirements of the state, so the state disclosure requirements. So that's what I do. But the reason we recommend you get away from titles is this is becoming a more competitive space. And if they've already talked to a realtor who didn't offer much value and you call yourself a realtor, they're going to assume all you can offer is what they had to offer. And they didn't know what they were talking about. So that's why we recommend it. But yeah, you want to definitely be compliant, but you don't have to, it doesn't have to be prominent and a big logo, and you don't have to open that way. You can just be you, and then put that in light gray in your footer, and you'll be fine.
Okay, and that'll be okay with my broker? I mean, will he say to me,
only
hey,
he
you
or
can't
she
do
can
that?
answer that.
Okay.
It was okay with my broker, and I will tell you that I'm in one of those markets where, like, I knew nobody. I moved to that market from Hawaii in 2012, so it's kind of a good old boys network. And how do I put this nicely? People are oftentimes more concerned with other people's business than going and finding their own. So I've had people run to my broker crying, saying, he mailed this to my client, and I have their property listed. And the asterisk, what I recommended, ethics are of utmost importance to us. If your property is listed, please disregard this letter. That was my CYA, and it worked. We didn't violate any ethics, the code of ethics. We didn't violate state law. And the broker basically said, my agent's crying, I have to call you. I'm cool with it because Chad did the right thing. And it fizzled out quickly. But it has, like, that has been tested by other agents who are, the tattletale agents in my market, have only once. But, eventually you're going to mail somebody who's already listed their property. There's just no way of telling. So that's why I throw that in there.
Right. Okay. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Evelyn. Next up, we have phone number ending in 5418.
Hello, this is Rick in California. Are you able to hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay. First of all, about estate sales companies, and I'm just looking for bullet points. You had given two sources, which is great, and I was wondering about when I'm on the phone with them or meeting them in person, qualifying them to the best advantage for me, of course. That would be my first question. And the second part would be, they have estate sales all over this area that I'm in, and in attending them, I'm wondering if you have some suggestions or ideas about the conversing with the estate sales company and the owner and the customers. Of course, we're looking for referrals, but if you had some bullet points for those, that'd be great.
Sure. So you may need more than one. I keep different levels of estate sale companies. Like if I need a $50,000 sale that includes vehicles and guns and everything in the house and antiques, then there's a full-blown estate sale company, and the family can choose whether they want to do a tag sale or an auction sale, and that's all agreed to up front. I also have guys that will just come in and write a check, and they'll take everything of value and they'll take it to a warehouse and piecemeal it out over time. So the family just gets it all done. They don't have to secure the property, put up cameras, control access points. Like, none of that needs to be done. They just come, they write a check, and then they take what they want. That leaves you needing a clean-out crew and needing to get the rest, donated. So you can call the Habitat Restore, Salvation Army, Goodwill, different churches and organizations in your area. You can coordinate that yourself if you go that route of just having a guy come and write a check for certain items. And then I have another guy that is a flea market, how do you put this, a flea market professional, a flea market entrepreneur, I'll say. What he does, the deal we cut with him, he'll go in, clean out the house completely, broom swept. So he will take what he can and turn it into inventory for the flea market. For example, he takes these like 1950s TVs and turns them into fish aquariums. And he can take a TV that we would throw out and turn it into $500. So one man's junk is another man's treasure. He knows how to turn it into treasure. So he can make a few $1,000s on a typical house, and in exchange for that, he will donate everything that he can't monetize, and he'll trash out everything else. And we don't pay a dime. The family doesn't pay a dime. We don't pay a dime, and we give him a deadline. And I've used him on about 4 houses, and it's gone smoothly every time. The only way I know to find that guy is to go to the flea market and look for antique furniture and eclectic things that look like they came from estate properties, and just strike up a conversation, and you might find that person. I found mine. We had bought a house and we were trashing it out. He was across the street trashing the house out, and we started talking. So it was just by chance. But I think if I had to meet that person, I would find him on a Saturday late morning at the flea market, and see, when I see the kind of inventory that are in these types of houses, that's the person I want to talk to. But you might find that you'll need different levels of estate sale companies, and hopefully that generated some thoughts about good questions to ask, like, what does a typical sale look like for you guys? Do you do tag sales, auction sales, both? What if the family just wants someone to write a check and make it disappear? Do you guys do that? But learn what you can about their business and where they might fit with which clients. And then you'll find that one will be more suited for higher end sales that might include vehicles or antiques. One might be more run-of-the-mill, like houses full of tools and trinkets and furniture. And then one may be your specialty guy. Like when you find a firearms collection, I can make one phone call and this guy will make me a fair offer on the entire collection, and he'll take them back and sell them on Gunbroker. So the reason I answered it that way, so you can kind of see, there is a lot of ways that you can work with estate sale companies, and you're going to ask each of them different questions, but knowing what their ideal business is kind of helps you know where they fit with your clients and which one is best to refer in the moment.
Excellent, Chad. I had one other area that I'd appreciate some assistance with, and that's
sure.
selecting title companies. A1 would be how to source them and qualify title companies for this business, and A2 would be maximizing their services for my clients and myself. In other words, interviewing them, getting the best
save you a ton of headache. I'm in a market where we can use attorneys or title companies. I only use the attorney that I use for my investment and creative financing deals. If you can't use if you have to go through a title company in your market, make sure it's a title company with an attorney on retainer that has done a lot of investor business. So you want to know that they have bankruptcy experience, short sale experience, foreclosure, like trustee sale experience. If they can clean up title on those three categories of property, when they do find a title issue on probate, they'll blow right through it, and you might not even know about it. If you put it with a more conventional title company, when they find a title issue, the drama starts. And ask me how I know. Like, I will not put a probate. I'd say 2 in 100 probate deals will have title issues, or heirs acting, negatively toward each other, where the title binder, like, they'll stop the transaction until it gets resolved. In that case, I've had my conventional title company expect me to do all the work, to go find people and get the releases signed and everything. They wanted me to do their job after I'd already done mine. Where with an attorney, a seasoned attorney who has experience in these other, in bankruptcy, short sales, trustee sales, I mean, this is another day in the office for them. When they hit a title issue, they blow through it. If they need to write a scary letter, they'll do it. So that would be my advice. Find out who the investors in town are using. Find out who the guys that are buying houses at the courthouse steps, who's closing their deals, the guys in your local REI group. What attorney are they using? The other thing, like getting the most advantage out of that person once you find them, to answer the next part of your question, if you have that person, like the very first caller, he found a creative financing deal, I would put that through his office in a heartbeat. And I would say, listen, I'm going to wholesale this to this guy, and I want you to write a note and deed of trust. I'm going to endorse you. When I assign the contract to him, I'm going to strongly recommend he puts it through your office for the reason I just talked about, and for the creative financing reason. So knowing that attorney also gives you a lot of flexibility to put together creative deals with other investors. And if he's representing a lot of investors, they will probably feel really good about that. So as far as serving your clients, it gets things done quicker and with less drama and with less involvement from you or them. The attorneys just deal with it.
Perfect. I think we have one last person in the queue. We're going to try that 7976 again, right, Kat?
Yeah, can you hear us, 7976?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, hello. I'm so excited we got you through.
We got you. You're the last caller of the day. We saved you for last.
All right, good. Yeah, I was having trouble with the *6. Anyway, I'll ask my quick question. So I have been hearing this is to, like, say, attorneys, if we're going to cold drop by attorneys, because I don't have my leads yet. They're coming in about a week or two. So midweek, midday, is that like a cold call first or just a pop by? I'm trying to kind of figure out my efficiency of time. I live in Los Angeles, so we drive everywhere. And I don't mind doing either of it. I just want to hear what the best efficiency of time is.
Yeah, you're best off to. So what I recommend is, set out a block each week, whatever that is. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But just for example, Wednesday from 1 to 4, you're going to drive attorneys' offices, and go into My Probate Leads, export the attorney list, and then there's an app that I use called Route for Me. So route the number 4 ME, and you can load in a list of addresses, and it's using Google Maps as the engine, so it, considering traffic and everything else, it'll give you the most efficient route to all of those addresses. So it'll basically lay out your list, your map of the afternoon for you, and just drop in the attorney's offices one by one. And we've had folks do this in major metro markets, and you can, if you visit 10 offices, you should probably come out of it, like midweek, midday, 10 office visits, you should have 3 pretty solid attorney relationships by the end of the day.
Okay. I am familiar with that routing map. I use it for door knocking and a couple others. So, okay, so just so I'm on the right page, it really is literally a cold pop by you prefer, because I would assume calling, there's too many barriers to entry, and that might be time wasted as well.
The gatekeeper, whoever's answering the phone, it's their job. They're the guardian of billable hours, right? So they are to deal with anything they can on the phone, and the easiest way to deal with you is to just throw you into voicemail or say, yeah, he'll call you tomorrow, and then never worry about it again. And the same thing, they open mail over the trash can. because they get hundreds of letters from that doesn't bring any value to their business. But what we find is when you walk in and look them in the eye and say, listen, I'm looking for a partner to help all of my clients set up estate plans. And by the way, we help families going, but the way we find most of these folks is we have a team of people here locally that help families going through probate. And our service picks up where yours leaves off. We don't do anything legal. We consider you part of our team. So I just really thought we should meet. We're both working with the same folks in the same market, and I know that my business is complementary to yours and vice versa. So have you got 5 minutes? And usually that 5 minutes will turn into an hour-long conversation and a good relationship that almost immediately results in referrals because they've never had anyone come in offering real value to them. And we've talked about this a lot. You want to, if you go to alltheleads.com in the top right search bar, put in attorney, and you'll find a lot of these conversations. But one of the things we've talked about, attorneys can't directly solicit for business. So if you're a family law attorney, you need to write trust agreements. You need to be writing wills. You need to be finding new clients all the time. But you can't directly market to them. You can put up a billboard. You can teach a seminar. You can do a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn event. But you can't get a list and mail them directly offering that service, or you can be disbarred. So that's an opportunity for us to bring a ton of value to those people. We can become a marketing channel for them. If we're bringing them all of our past clients, every time we close a probate deal, we bring the family over and say, we're going to make sure that you have an opportunity to never have to go through this again. And by the way, a typical trust is going to cost about $1,500 to $2,000, where probate costs 5% of the gross amount of the estate. So I can show you a way to never go through this again, and it'll be 10 times cheaper than going through this. And that's an A referral to open the door for those attorneys. And how long have you been in real estate?
Oh, I'd gone to the next caller. Thanks, everyone, for staying with us. We do have one last caller in the queue we wanted to squeeze in. That's phone number ending in 0625. Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you.
Yep, sure. You're last up. We're going to actually close the queue now. We're kind of running over, but we wanted to get to you. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. 06. Yeah, this is Theodore in California. You're not going to make me talk to that scary lady, are you?
Which one?
Oh, the one that's been talking. No, I'm just joking. I have a couple of different questions here. What's the off the top of your head, the minimum different core categories you should have in your wheel?
So
if I'm setting up my team, what are the main people and the spokes that I should have? If the 4 or 5 or 6 of them were there? Or?
So I'm gonna preface this because I see a lot of people, they don't want to get started until they've built this dream team. And I challenge people often, like if you had a $30,000 profit in a deal sitting on your desk, but you had to have this team, in place before you could submit that to escrow or to your, to put it in MLS, you could build this team in a day or two. So don't feel like you have to find them all, but a good kind of basic team. And you also never stop building this. I continue to find new folks that bring value. Like, for example, recently I've learned about kind of a budding industry. It's care managers. So these are usually third parties working on grant money, but they're, care managers are meeting with families in that end-of-life transitional phase. They're going to be some of the first people to know when families have a need to downsize their housing or to get rid of assets so they can qualify for Medicaid and transfer into long-term care. So that's an example of a spoke that the most recent one that I've added because I didn't even know that industry existed a year ago. So as a basic team, you definitely want to have a good, you want to have brokerage and investment, real estate brokerage, real estate investment covered. If you're not in both of those seats, then you need to find the other, the other part of it. You need to have contractors, clean out crews, estate sale companies. A CPA is good to have to answer tax questions. A registered investment advisor or certified financial planner is good to help them look at what they can do with their final distribution and how they can preserve and grow that wealth. a family law attorney to set up, or a probate attorney, usually one and the same, to set up an estate plan for the survivors so they don't have to go through this again. Senior moving companies to help family members downsize to more suitable housing to get houses empty so they're more sellable. Nursing home employees, the same, social workers, the care managers. I mean, the list goes on. But if I had to pick three, I would say you need to have brokerage, investment, and estate sale companies would be the top three. The next would probably be contractors and clean out crews. But so you can wait, and you don't have to wait to get all this in place before you start. If you're sitting there and you know that you can find an estate sale company in a day or two, then you can confidently say, our estate sale company can do X, Y, and Z. Then you just have to go find an estate sale company that can back you up and can do X, Y, and Z. But I'm confident you can do that in a day or so.
What do you mean by investment? I thought we were the investors.
Well, I wasn't sure of your title. We have both.
An investor.
We have real estate brokers, agents, and investors on this call. So by investors, I mean, right. It's someone that can make a cash offer or a creative offer.
Okay, got you. Buyers, yeah, gotcha. Okay, next question is, what's the most common disposition once you get a lead, you develop a rapport, and they want help in handling the house? What's the most common outcome? Is it they get turned into rentals, they get turned into wholesale deals, or what usually happens?
95% of them will go as is, where is. 1% will stay in the family, and the rest will be usually wholesaled. Some of that's not true. Some of them retail. It really varies market to market. In my market, almost every one of them went to landlords or first-time home buyers who had saved up a chunk of had saved up money to do the rehab on their own. Really.
So a lot of them ended up as rentals?
Most of the ones in Roanoke ended up as rentals because they're in
great all over the map, huh?
They're in great neighborhoods. They're in great exterior.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Typically, you're going to find that they're in good neighborhoods. They're in great condition outside. They just have deferred maintenance, or they're just functionally obsolete inside. So usually all they need is just a cosmetic rehab. That's why landlords love these. They can buy them at 80 cents on the dollar. They can rent them as is at a below market rent, or they can put 10 to 15 into them and rent them at a market rent.
Yeah, I was just going to say that probably varies greatly by market too. I know in South Florida where I am, like every single one I did was just sell it and get rid of it as quick as possible, and it was usually, in most of them, actually, some went to investors, but actually most of them went to owner-occupants just looking for a decent deal, go in and put some sweat equity into it. But it really does vary greatly by market. So, big difference between Roanoke and South Florida.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious there. Any more questions? Are you time up, or?
Well, no. Go. Yeah, we're just about up against the wall, but maybe one more real quick one, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, just it is fairly quick, I think. Do personal representatives tend to be inundated with telephone calls when their relative dies? Do they tend to get 1 million phone calls? Generally,
it's more pressure in the mailbox for sure. Not many folks have.
Okay.
Like your X factor with our data is the personal rep's cell phone number usually, and what we find is a lot of times our folks who tell success stories to us, they'll get there. There'll be 30 to 40 pieces of mail in really competitive markets, and they made one phone call, or they picked up the phone call that was made, and it differentiated them so much that they didn't even just talk about it with all the other people. And we have hundreds of those stories. So it's good to send the letter, because sometimes the letter really stands out, and they know exactly who you are when they hear you on the phone, because they're like, oh, your letter was so much different. A lot of times they'll call you back 6 or 12 months later because of the nature of the letter. But your real X factor with us is being on the phones, because very few people have the skill set or the courage or the phone numbers to be there competing with you.
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you very much for your patience. The call definitely went longer than usual. Thank you so much, Kat. And like I said, next week, go easy on our awesome sales crew and Kat. We'll be out cruising Alaska, the owners of the company. But just a reminder, call will go on as scheduled. Kat and Darcy and Jordan and Natalie will be here to answer your questions. But next week would be a great week to bring social media related questions. That is Kat's specialty. So any marketing ideas. Kat, hit her, play Stump Kat next week with your marketing questions. And Kat, you can end the call differently next week, but I always end the calls the same way. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank everybody who actively participated, and I want to challenge each of you to take one idea, one thought, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and come back and share it with the group next week. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we will talk to you the same time next Thursday. Take care.